What a week it has been. We had Lily Phillips allegedly breaking the world record for the most men slept with in under 24. In fact, it was under 12 hours. And then we had the Epstein files and videos like saga continue and then develop and get even worse. So let's start out with the Lily Phillips story. Well, something that I never thought would ever probably happen has allegedly happened. And I have to state that it is only alleged right now because the information out there is so scarce that you could actually argue that it may never have happened. But you may remember about 6 or so months ago, Bonnie Blue broke the record for the most guys slept with in 24 hours. In fact, she slept with 1,057 men in 12 hours, which was quite an insane feat when you come to think about it. But Lily Phillips, who is also someone who was started out as friends with Bonnie Blue and has since kind of become a bit of a rivalry, has allegedly come out and stated that she has broken the world record, which was 1,057 guys in 12 hours by Bonnie Blue, and has apparently absolutely smashed that out of the park by allegedly sleeping with 1,113 men in 12 hours. What? That is pretty insane. Multiple media outlets have reported on this. Outkick is just one of them, one of many. But Lily Phillips herself has also claimed that she managed to do this, right, from an Instagram post to begin with, which came out about 5 days ago, or 6 days ago.
I understand that I've been wanting to do a certain world record. Now, I'm very happy to announce that yesterday I did just that. I did 1,113 men in 12 hours. Now, obviously, it's going to take me a little bit of time to edit and upload this 12-hour video, but it will be going on my Fansly, and I will let you know once it's out. But yeah, within the next week, fingers crossed. For those...
So, obviously, that was 6 days ago. I don't follow her on any of her, saucy accounts, so I don't know if that went out. Maybe someone who does can get in the comments and say, yes or no. I don't know. Maybe just out yourself a little bit, but... yeah, she claimed that this apparently took place on June 29th of 2025 in central London. It was described as involving a one-on-one session with strict time limits. Apparently, everything averaged to about 38 seconds per encounter. 38 seconds. She stated on her obviously Instagram post that she was feeling surprisingly good but achy afterwards, comparing it to 12 hours of a physical workout. She plans to obviously release the edited footage of her event to her Fansly account, as OF has banned such extreme challenge content. So I guess Fansly must be like the Kick to Twitch, I suppose, where if you can't upload it to one, there's always a bigger cesspit that will just allow it to go up. Now, the claim has obviously sparked significant online attention and controversy, fueled by the rivalry between Phillips and Bonnie Blue. Now, Bonnie Blue obviously previously accused Phillips of stealing her ideas for world record attempts, noting that she shared the concept with Phillips during a collaboration, and the two have history of competing with similar challenges, with Phillips previously attempting a smaller scale event in December of 2024, where she had an intimate time with 100 men in a single day. Obviously, she's now literally overshot that by 11-fold, which is quite insane. Now, many people were like, was she ever planning on still doing this? Even though the 1,000 guy challenge was completed 6 months ago, she said to the Daily Mirror that yes, she still planned to do this.
Do what I've called the 1,000 man challenge.
The man challenge. Definitely.
Yeah?
Yeah. So my assistant's currently going through the 5,000 applications we have. They'll be getting, honestly, as quick as possible in, out. I just want a conveyor belt. We're maybe thinking most it'll be 17 hours.
So I saw the video of after you did the 100.
Yeah.
And you actually seemed quite distressed.
It was very stressful. I was extremely overwhelmed. A super long, hard, stressful day. And then a camera crew probing me with questions for an hour. That was kind of, if I'm honest, I wish I'd kind of set a boundary, because that was kind of the last thing I wanted, was just someone hammering me with questions after completing a really long, hard day. It's personally not how I would have told the narrative or how I would have edited it, but it definitely made for a very interesting watch.
Are you
Obviously, many people have then come to this, right, and they've been like, well, if she felt that way after 100 guys, How has she got the mental stability to possibly take on this alleged challenge of 1,000 guys? Not only that, but 1,113. That's quite the up mark, right? Now, like I say, these kinds of things, like Bonnie Blue's challenge, came with speculation, let's call it, because many people push back and were like, did this actually happen though? Because obviously there's the logistical feasibility, right? How could you possibly get with that many guys in a 12-hour period? As this apparently averages to roughly around one encounter every 38 seconds. I mean, what are they, like 2 pumps and a grunt kind of situation? Like, this is wild. And many people say that this, just is completely implausible due to the physical, emotional, and organisational demands. Even with strict time limits and a controlled environment, the sheer scale raises doubts about whether she was even able to achieve such a number. Right? Obviously, that's what many people are speculating, because it's quite the number to try and, well, not try and reach. Apparently, she has reached. Like, how does that work? Is it literally like, even if, I don't know why I'm even questioning the logistics of this, but is it like what's the logistics of, is it just like, I don't know, I'm not even going to go there because I don't want this video getting demonetized. I'm sure it probably already has, but now obviously there's a distinct lack of independent verification, as well as no one's officially organized or verified this, such as, even the Guinness Book of World Records, right? Because if they're going for a world record, of course you're going to want it in the Guinness Book of World Records. I don't know if Guinness would even allow that in the world records ranking, but I mean, if it is a world record, I guess they got to. I don't know. Now, obviously, it's quite a thing, but she's even made a YouTube channel off the back of this, right? So she's created a YouTube channel, obviously called Lily Phillips. She's uploaded a few shorts just kind of talking about how she successfully broke the world record, which we've already seen. And then she spoke about the aftermath as well. Helps if I had sound.
After a day's work. If you are wondering what I get up to after a day's work of being with 1,113 men, it is having a Nando's in a couche in a hotel room with, this is the hotel nightgown, by the way. How nice is this? I need to steal it, don't I? And I'm going to stick on some Love Island because I need to catch up from today's episode. Or should I say yesterday's episode now? But I'm going to stick that on and finish this mountain of food. If you are...
For those of you that are...
One thing I'm really surprised at after doing 1,113 men is how I'm actually not in pain down there or anything like that. Maybe it's just because I'm a massive bucket or something like that, but I don't know. I thought it'd be a lot more achy than it is. One thing
now, yeah, you can see like the way that she's going about it, obviously very elusive. She also uploaded a full video, right, like a 10-minute video of how she broke the world record. Now, I don't know if I don't know if that's necessarily a video that anyone needs to watch. Like, I can imagine how she probably broke that world record, but there you go. That's there for anyone that would be interested in watching that. Yeah, like I say, if anyone wants to like verify that that's actually gone out, if you're willing to kind of admit that you watch that stuff, then let me know down in the comments. I'm sure we'd all love to see it and hear about it, and get that verification. I'll pin the comment as well. And we've got Jeffrey Epstein, a man who is just surrounded by creepiness and controversy. Well, some videotapes were released by the DOJ and the FBI to try and prove the cover-up was not actually a cover-up on the Jeffrey Epstein saga. The Jeffrey Epstein situation just goes from bad to worse as things tend to evolve, right? So, in case you've been living under a rock and you didn't know, there has been new Jeffrey Epstein videos that have been released by the US Department of Justice, otherwise known as the DOJ, and the FBI on July 7th. And this allegedly was a 10-hour video recording from CCTV from inside the cell block where Jeffrey Epstein was being held, which is supposed to support the fact that Jeffrey Epstein himself had, commit suicide, and also to support the fact that that there was no coercion or anything that went on behind the scenes, which meant that, he was offed by government or by the prison officials or whatever, okay? And it was released, of course, to try and support this narrative that he did actually do that to himself. But it has met some significant controversy and backlash, especially from the YouTuber CoffeeZilla, typically known for his cryptocurrency scams and exposés, but now has kind of turned his hand over on his second channel, Voidzilla, to this situation. And it is really interesting. Now, to begin with, the surveillance footage was, of course, released from the Metropolitan Correction Center in New York City, where Epstein was held before his death on August 10th of 2019. The video is nearly 11 hours long and covers the period from 10:40 p.m. on August 9th, 2019, when Epstein was locked in his cell, to around 6:30 a.m. the next morning when he was found unresponsive. It shows Epstein being led to his cell in an orange jumpsuit by a guard, with no one else entering or leaving the common area near his cell during this time. And the FBI enhanced the footage to clarify, increasing contrast, balancing color, and improving sharpness. The DOJ and FBI state that this video supports the conclusion that Epstein died by taking his own life, consistent with the medical examiner's ruling that refutes conspiracy theories suggesting a potential murder plot. However, the footage has noted a gap of around 1 minute, where the timestamp jumps from 11:58 p.m. to exactly 12 a.m. when officials have not explained. Some online skepticisms, as seen on a post on X, for example, suggest that the video may have been edited due to a mismatched frame size or other anomalies, though these claims are inconclusive and lack verifiable evidence. And the DOJ memo amplifying and accompanying the release also states that the exhaustive review found no evidence of a, quote, client list or blackmail involving prominent individuals, contradicting earlier claims by the Attorney General Pam Bondi and quashing related conspiracy theories. Now, of course, the idea of the video release was to try and, aim to address public speculation and suppress that. But it's sparked more questions than answers and has ultimately done absolutely nothing to support that claim. And like I say, CoffeeZilla has absolutely jumped on the case here and has really kind of exposed and put a bit of a limelight on this situation and exposed it for what it may truly be. But yeah, so CoffeeZilla basically identifies that there is actually a minute missing, like we stated earlier, and the timestamp is at nearly 11-hour surveillance video released by the DOJ, okay? So it jumps from 11:58:58, so the 11th hour, 58th minute, 58th second, and it jumps to 12 a.m. exactly. Alright, so this is literally a jump of 1 minute and 2 seconds on the dot, which jumps from August 9th, 2019, August 8th, to August 9th. And he points out that the gap is evident not only by the time span, but also the subtle shift in the video's framing. So the video goes from like this wider glance to this more kind of cropped in glance. So, it does look as if there is a solid cut within the video, which obviously, suggests the cut or edit in the video. Now, CoffeeZilla notes that the missing minute is particularly suspicious because it occurs just before midnight, a critical time leading up to Epstein's death, and the DOJ has not provided an explanation for this discrepancy at all. To support the analysis, CoffeeZilla also references a 2023 Inspector General report on Epstein's death, which detailed significant operational failures at the prison, including non-functional cameras, and he clarifies that the release was from the common area, not specifically in Epstein's cell, contrary to what the FBI director Kash Patel implied on platforms like the Joe Rogan podcast, where Patel suggested that the footage would have definitively show no one accessed Epstein's cell. CoffeeZilla uses diagrams from the IG report, or Inspector General report, to illustrate that the camera's positioning, which was on the L tier where Epstein's cell was located, but only captured the guard station and part of the staircase, not the door itself, noted by 3 little frames, or little particles, sorry. The report also confirms that the camera directly facing Epstein's cell was streaming, but not recording due to the DVR failure starting around July 29th of 2019, further limiting the footage's ability to provide conclusive evidence. Now, there is also some more evident and notable information that comes from this breakdown from CoffeeZilla, which is pretty fantastic. So there is a mystery man at around 10:38 p.m, roughly 8 minutes after it was, began that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't checked in on between 10:30 and 6:30 a.m. the next day. So around 8 minutes after his final checkup, there is a mystery man that kind of pops into frame with what looks to be wearing an orange jumpsuit, accompanied by a guard who is briefly visible near the staircase leading to the L tier. This contradicts the 2023 Inspector General reports that claim that all inmates were locked up in their cells by 8 p.m. on August 9th of 2019, and the DOJ's 2025 memo casually states that Epstein was locked in his cell at around 10:40 p.m, suggesting that the figure could have been Epstein himself, but the detail was not mentioned in earlier reports. And CoffeeZilla questions why Epstein or another inmate was out of their cell after hours after lockdown, and why this was not previously disclosed. Obviously, it's a pretty big cock-up on the part of the DOJ and the Inspector General reports. Now, there's also questions about the guard negligence and falsified reports. So, CoffeeZilla emphasises that guards failed to perform mandatory checks on Epstein from 10:40 p.m. till 6:30 a.m. the following morning, when he was found deceased. The IG report confirms that guards falsified reports to claim that they had conducted these checks, and that 2 guards admitted to dozing off during their shift. And this negligence, combined with the non-recording cameras and the 1 minute missing, undermines the DOJ's assertion that the footage definitively proves that this was him taking his own life. And then, to add even more into the mix, there's the misleading statements by the authorities. So, CoffeeZilla then goes on to criticise FBI Director Kash Patel for suggesting that the released footage would show a clear view of Epstein's cell, when it actually covers only the common area. And Patel's earlier skepticism about the official narrative expressed before joining the Trump administration contrasts with his current stance that the footage confirms a potential life-taking incident. And CoffeeZilla argues that the misinformation, coupled with the missing minute and the mystery figure, fuels distrust rather than resolving it. Obviously, this is a pretty big cock-up, just across the board. Many people are talking about this and how, it's basically nigh on confirmed that, something is going on. So if you take a look at the footage just here, so this comes from around 7:40 p.m. So this is the view that we, of course, got. Now, this is the guard's desk. Jeffrey Epstein's cell isn't actually here at all. It's actually around this corner behind this, completely out of view. Now, the staircase in reference are these 3 pixels here, and this is where the orange jumpsuit comes into frame. Okay, and we can see a guard running off in this direction as almost towards, we can assume, Jeffrey Epstein's cell. Now, of course, we were promised by the FBI that this would be clear evidence of Epstein's cell. In fact, it is not clear evidence or a clear view whatsoever. In fact, apparently, the recordings were completely dead, allegedly. It's a really, really, really messy situation, and it absolutely, in my opinion, doesn't actually confirm or deny anything. it just adds more speculation to the fire, and it's just made a bigger mess of things than they already were. And then it got even worse as Donald Trump and his, I guess, government were questioned about it, and Donald Trump did something incredibly weird. The Epstein situation has just gone from worse to so much worse, and then it just gets a little bit worse once again, as Donald Trump has basically just shut down a reporter in the Oval Office whilst talking about some, different things regarding Epstein. So basically the reporter comes out, and if you haven't seen the footage yet that was released by the FBI and the DOJ, there was a 10-hour video recording of Epstein's cell block that was released to the public and was supposed to prove the fact that Jeffrey Epstein had, taken his own life, to kind of move away from this narrative that the government had anything to do with it. Now, the footage didn't show that whatsoever. I go into great detail about this in yesterday's video, so if you haven't seen that, go and check that one out. But basically, it doesn't show that whatsoever. But Donald Trump has just gone kind of nuclear on a reporter who basically questions why there was a minute missing from the Epstein video. Now, if you haven't seen it, between the minutes of 11:58:58 and midnight, a minute and 2 seconds is cut from the recording before it was released. It was completely cut from the recording. And many people are speculating that around that time, something may have happened, especially as around at 10:38 p.m, we can see someone in an orange jumpsuit out of their cell, hovering around where Jeffrey Epstein's cell was supposed to be, even though everyone was meant to be locked away for the night from 8 p.m. So who was out of their cell 2 hours and 38 minutes after everyone was supposed to be locked down? It begs the question, and we see a security guard in the footage also running across. But everyone has obviously gone absolutely mental about this, because on July 8th, during a White House cabinet meeting in 2025, a reporter attempted to ask the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, about the missing minute in the released footage by the Department of Justice, intended to confirm that Jeffrey Epstein in 2019 actually did take his own life in a Manhattan jail cell. The footage, part of an 11-hour video outside of Epstein's cell, skipped from 11:58:58 to midnight, of course, like I stated, on August 9th, 2019, prompting speculation and conspiracy theories. President Donald Trump then interrupted the reporter before Bondi could even respond, expressing frustration and calling for the focus on Epstein, a desecration, given other pressing issues like the Texas flooding. And he described Epstein as a, quote, creep, and questioned why the topic was still being discussed, suggesting it was a complete waste of time. Bondi then addressed the minute missing, explaining it was due to an outdated Bureau of Prisons recording system from 1999 that resets nightly, causing the same minute to be missing every single night. She stated that the DOJ was looking to release the video and an additional video to clarify this. Bondi also clarified in earlier comments that from a February 2025 Fox News interview, where she said the Epstein client list was on her desk for review. She claimed that it was meant the entire Epstein case file, not a specific list, aligning with the DOJ memo, which was released on July 7th of 2025, which stated that no such client list existed and confirmed Epstein's death was actually by suicide. Now, obviously, this has drawn significant attention, because everyone's like, why did he butt in before she was even able to respond? Why did he shut down the reporter? It was a valid question, and the reporter's asking the question that everyone's got on their mind right now. This is the clip in question where Trump completely shuts them down.
Jeffrey Epstein, it left some lingering mysteries. One of the biggest ones is whether he ever worked for a American or foreign intelligence agency. The former Labor Secretary, who was Miami U.S. Attorney Alex Costa, he allegedly said that he did work for an intelligence agency. So could you resolve whether or not he did? And also, could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of the death?
Yeah, sure. If
Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
Sure. First, to back up on that, in February, I did an interview on Fox, and it's been getting a lot of attention because I said, I was asked a question about the client list, and my response was, it's sitting on my desk to be reviewed, meaning the file, along with the JFK, MLK files as well. That's what I meant by that. Also, to the tens of thousands of video, they turned out to be child porn downloaded by that disgusting Jeffrey Epstein. Child porn is what they were. Never going to be released, never going to see the light of day. To him being an agent, I have no knowledge about that. We can get back to you on that. And the minute missing from the video, we released the video showing definitively the video was not conclusive, but the evidence prior to it was showing he committed suicide. And what was on that, there was a minute that was off the counter. And what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
I mean, it's very interesting that Donald Trump would react in such an explosive way. You know, trying to shut down the conversation as quickly as possible before Bondi then actually just went on to explain it anyway. The fact that he responded in such a way has, you know, really stirred the pot, with people being like, well, you know, your government released this information. Your FBI released this information. It's a trending topic right now. People are asking questions about it. Of course, there are other issues to be talked about, but, you know, this is also one of the issues. You know, especially with the video. I mean, Bondi claims there that the video proves indefinitely that, without a shadow of a doubt, that Epstein, you know, commits suicide. It doesn't. It really doesn't, because you don't see that at all. You can see the fact that the guards clearly didn't do their jobs, but that's about it. Now, I want to refer back to a tweet made from Elon Musk, which took place back in May, the 6th of May 2025. This came after the public feud and fallout, obviously, between Elon Musk and Donald Trump, where Elon Musk stated, it's time to really drop a big bomb. At real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That is the real reason they have not made it public. Have a nice day, Donald Jr. or Donald Trump, basically, right? And whether this is the truth or not, it is, you know, besides the point. But when you refer back to it in this kind of context, it does look a little bit shady that Elon Musk would say something like, you know, Trump's in the Epstein files and he was on Epstein's island and all the rest of it and they were close friends. And then Donald Trump is trying to really shut down these claims quickly, like really quickly, when questioned about the files, and trying to just shut down any conversation about Epstein. I don't know. It's of course it's speculative on my part, but the question has to be asked: what is the truth here? Why did Donald Trump react in that way? Why was he trying to shut it down as quickly as possible? Why did he try and shift the narrative when it was a valid question? You know, I'd understand if Epstein hadn't been spoken about for donkey's years, and, you know, but the information was brand new. We only just had that released to us, and now there's a lot of questions about it. It's valid. What do you guys make about this? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump together, hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll spook you later. Peace.